right, I'd like to call the fall city council meeting to order. 5:32, March 6, 2023. Mr. Chatswell, our fire chief, is going to give our invocation, followed by the pledge of allegiance, and then we'll have roll call.
Dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for the opportunity to come before you tonight, Lord. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful community that we live in, Lord. We pray that you'll give the city council wisdom and knowledge tonight, Lord, to make the best decisions for our citizens. Lord, again, we're so blessed to have you to have us in this wonderful place that we live in, Lord. Again, forgive us when we fail you. Lead, guide, and direct us in the way that you have us to go, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Chatswell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ms. Cox,
Counselor Davis.
he's running a little bit late,
Yeah,
so,
he'll need to go
but
back
he'll be
in.
here.
Vice Mayor Mauser here, Mayor Warren,
Here.
Counselor Upton,
Here.
Counselor Kirby.
Here. All here, so we have a quorum. We'll go on to the consent agenda. Item 5, approval of minutes. Item A, regular council meeting, February 6, 2023. Item 6, approval of the treasurer's report. Item 7, approval of the February 2023 payroll figures for the general fund in the amount of $81,905.59. Receipt of claims, City of Eufaula. Council?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes. All yes, that motion carries. Let's go on to items removed from the consent agenda. Item 9, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and or postponement of a ordinance 23-3-1 establishing a technology fee to be assessed on all municipal court actions. We'll have to vote on these separately. Mr. Jones.
So, Mayor and Council, part of the aspect of law enforcement is technology. We have tablets in a car, printers in a car. You have your court technology. We have to be able to, we do video technology between the jail and the courtroom. And it's a demand. It's a demand on the budget. And a lot of towns, and I think rightfully so, have approached that with a fee that's charged through actions that go through the court. So that the actions that go through the court support that technology demand that's required. You know, as we stand right now, we have 11 officers. The officers plus the chief and assistant chief have tablets, and they're actually 3 years old, 3+ years old, and they're due for it. And technology is ever changing. It doesn't get cheaper, and we just feel like that we can use a fee through court actions in order to help support that replacement.
Is this what the new technology fee is?
If on the top of that page there, yes, you can see where I say new technology fee, $25.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a portion. So there's 2 actions here. One, will you adopt an ordinance to approve a technology fee? Then the next action after number 10 will be, at that point, we will amend the fee schedule, is what that would be, and place that fee in the fee schedule.
Okay.
We're not actually voting on the fee assessment. We're just voting on the ordinance to allow.
That's correct.
No, you said that you were, that was the fee, that's going to be the fee.
The fee, so you have to approve an ordinance. If it's a new fee in our fee schedule, which a technology fee is a new fee,
She talked about all of this.
That will come second. That will
That,
come
but
on.
that
item
would
number
be
10.
on B or 10.
That's right. And so the ordinance that you're voting on now will be to create the technology fee and allow us to add that fee, a defined fee to our fee schedule. Then on action number 10, that will be where
We'll talk about it in a second.
That's correct. That's where we'll be.
Okay.
Approve
The
that.
the new technology fee, will that be to every ticket
Yes,
that one of the officers writes?
that's correct. That's correct.
So I guess first, on 9, we're just voting to allow a fee.
To create that fee. That's right.
On 10, we'll actually discuss.
That's correct.
So we'll just go ahead.
Well, that'll be up to the council, what y'all want to, what we want to do on this $25 new technology fee. If the officers need it. Chief, would you like to speak on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Feel free to.
Some of the things now that other departments are doing and we're trying to keep up with is just like what he said, tablets in the car, computers in the cars. One of the things now is, say we have a warrant for someone, dispatch can send those pictures right to our car. If someone's missing or if there's a suspect from another agency and they put out, a bolo or for us to look for someone, we can instantly have that photo. DPS, everybody's pictures now are available to us, but we gotta have the technology to have that. And plus, not only do we need that computer in our car, we're having to pay for cellular service so that we can have that when we're not around Wi-Fi. The citations that we issue people are now, we can connect to our home computer, which is also tied to Oklahoma City, and then we can check warrants on those people and issue a citation right there and send them on their way. Print it out, it's just a whole lot faster, a whole lot simpler, but we're having to pay for that stuff monthly. So this would help offset
Offset cost.
Right. Right now, our officers will get online while they're on a traffic stop, and with their tablets, they can just type in a name and check ODCR, see if someone has a warrant, in some other county. So those things like that, again, the tablets are already 3 years old, so they're getting outdated, plus it's a fee that we've incurred to try to keep up, and this would help offset that cost.
So does this make it where you can actually look up things without having to have the dispatch do it?
You can, they have access because they're licensed to more private information. Your criminal history on the state computer, unless I'm licensed, I can't look that up. But anything that's available on the internet that we can look up, pretty quick. And, our dispatchers get busy and look.
Sure, that's why I was asking.
Right.
They're covered up pretty much with all the departments.
We can maybe see that someone has got a criminal offense or if it's got a warrant, but we can't see the details. Dispatch would be the only ones that would be able to get those details for us.
So this might cut down on dispatch calls.
Yes.
Council, any other questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve 9A.
I second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes. Item 9A carries. Item B, approval of emergency clause for ordinance 23-3-1 is listed in agenda item 9A. I make a motion to approve. We're not gonna-
That's just the ordinance though.
That's just to bring it, that's the emergency clause to bring it into effect immediately. after it's published in the newspaper.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser. Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes. Item 9B carries. We move on to item 10. Consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of Resolution 23-3-1, amending the fee schedule, see attachment A. Mr. Jones.
So, in the course of our discussion with staff and researching technology fees, we researched the fines and warrant fees, deferral fees, and collected that data from the surrounding towns. We put that on a spreadsheet, run through it to see where we were compared to other communities that surround us. In most instances, we were lower, and so in some instances, quite a bit lower. Okay, and so we did a roundtable, and we probably met on this 2, 3, 4 times, custom discuss. To look at it. Well, what are we doing here? Think about it. Is this a fair number? Is that a fair number? Some of the other items that influenced us was some of the officers, when they've been involved in a traffic stop or in some sort of action, it was not uncommon to hear, well, we come to you follow because the fines are cheap. They don't want to go to Krebs and do what they're doing, and different actions like that, and they just come right out and say it. All right, we have a warrant fee that's $5. Our warrant fee is $5. Well, $5 doesn't even barely cover the postage in the paper, because you have to you initiate that warrant in court. Has to go to the court clerk. It has to be typed up. It has to be all put together. Then it has to be mailed. Has to be reported to the county. And then if an officer goes out and takes action on a warrant, if it takes him an hour, look, you have an hour of labor, an hour of time, miles, fuel, and we aren't recovering our costs. As an example, and it makes it hard. In my mind, it comes down to, it seems like that the general public is having to subsidize criminal, actions that they shouldn't have to subsidize. That's just my take on this. And so, as we went through all the court fees, we looked at where we're at. Every court action or every fee that we have fined increased by $85. We took what our current fine and fee was and increased it $85. That's what we did. In the instance of drug offenses, and there's 5 offenses in here that we raised by $750. Controlled substance possession. And so it is something that we really feel like that we need the team. We need the tools to do the job. They need the tools to do the job, to try to create a deterrent. This is not about money. I hope that if we take this kind of action, that we'll see those court numbers go down. That's what I hope. That's the bottom line. But I'll let Sybil's, our court clerk, and I think we're waiting on officers. Okay. So since I have the officers here, let me let them talk
Okay.
about some of the actions.
That's fine.
David, you like to
Officers.
and Tyler? Anyone?
So, I'm Sergeant Lewis with the Buffalo PD. When Jed was talking about, we've had some people that we've taken to jail for even, not just drug charges, but even like petty larceny, stealing stuff from the shark and stuff. watching from a retailer. Those people will literally sit in my back seat and tell me it's cheaper to steal and get caught here in Eufaula than it is in any other city. And same thing with the drug charges. We catch people with methamphetamine and stuff. And they ask on how much it would be to bond them out, because, they can pay our citation and get that same day. And I tell them the guesstimated price, and they laugh at me about my backseat. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll get that in just a second. I'll be out and I'll re-up before it's all said and done. So it's just kind of like it's almost like a shot in the gut to the city, especially whenever I can get somebody who stole just something as small as like AirPods or something from Family Dollar. They've got the money in their pocket to pay my citation, which is 4 times the amount of the item they stole. But they're just doing it for the fun of it, and they know they can get here in Eufaula. It's a small cost to them.
That's good information.
I just want to reiterate, as far as, especially when it comes to narcotics. So about 99.9% of all the crimes that you have can directly be related back to some sort of drug offense.
They're trying to talk to us. Y'all out there making noise, distracting. Let's show them some respect, show us counselors some respect. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
So about 99% of most all crimes will come back directly to a drug offense. So when the fee schedule is so low, and I'm speaking from experience, I retired out of Northern California, and I'm here now, this is my home, but we had a similar issue. Our fine and fee schedule was so low. It didn't even, well, first of all, it didn't even cover the costs of prosecution, law enforcement, court systems. But when you have the drug dealers that are basically laughing at you at the cost of the fines, when they can get out, they'll go steal something from an innocent citizen, they'll go flip it, get a $20 sack, they'll split that sack. By splitting, I mean, they'll cut it with an agent so they can double, triple their profits. It's a never-ending cycle. So if we make it so that it's not conducive for them to do business here, it will not only cut down on law enforcement, but it'll prevent innocent citizens from being victimized. So.
Thank you, sir.
Sybil, I would like to get Sybil up and let her talk some of the court aspects and different things that she's.
I've only been in court clerk for 3 years. When we first started, it was no tags, no insurance. That was all my dog did. Now it's CDS, drug paraphernalia. They will get arrested with $1,800 in cash. That's a lot of money. And they'll just go right back out and go back out. They call, there's no problem. They'll bond them out. You tell them they owe $70 on a water bill, they'll scream and cuss at you. But when you tell them they owe $900 on a ticket, it's all fine.
Talk back to the warrants, if you would, please.
About half of our people don't show up on their docket. They don't care. It's $5. So when they owe 160, they pay 165. They're out again, and they're breaking the law again. If we can take care of raise their car prices and make it where they don't want to come and break our law, it'll make our city better.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
I'd like to have, we have Judge Pratt here.
Okay, yes.
And from a jurisprudence standpoint.
Well, thank you for having me speak to you about the proposed fee schedule increases. I'm not here endorsing a political vote one way or another, but because of the code of judicial conduct. I don't, I'm not supposed to campaign for a lot, but I can tell you from just with facts, what I experienced, what the officers have said, I believe is 100% correct. I know that what Sybil has said is 100% correct. And I was speaking with Mr. Jones about this last week and told him that, you know, everything's going to probably become more expensive in the judicial end of things for the city, because more and more and more of my people who come in, citizens who have a code violation of some sort, claim to be indigent. The vast majority claim to be indigent. And we, by law, I am supposed to hold what's called a Rule 8 hearing. And so Rule 8.1 of the Court of Criminal Appeals, that court, that if someone claims they can't pay that fine and cost immediately, then I am required to give them a Rule 8 hearing. Certainly if they want it. And I haven't held formal Rule 8 hearings typically because folks, we usually work something out with them. I have probably had informal Rule 8 hearings where I will ask, what is the income of the individual? What are the expenses? What are the living arrangements? What's going on in their lives? And it's up to me based on some of their most recent conduct, where I will see that they had the money, but they didn't think to apply any of it to fines and costs, or they don't plan to be employed, or they don't plan to try to pay. I have actually incarcerated a few people for that. And I would want, from my end, to say that we're going to have to do more and more of those. And it's going, the judicial system and legal system in the city, I expect, will become costlier for the city. I expect to have to put in longer dockets from earlier in the day, or an extra docket per month for probably Rule 8 hearings. It's probably going to require, therefore, more time for city attorney, Ms. Wall, court clerk, even police officers could. So it can all these different things for the officers and the calls they have to make, and what Ms. Swepston does and Ms. Wall, all that workload is vastly increasing, especially since the legislature more or less decriminalized a lot of the harder drug cases. And I have a lot of that on the docket now, with very little authority compared to a district court. State law, you can incarcerate people for those crimes. I can't, not without a jury trial, and we are not set up, we are not a court of record, we are not set up for jury trial. So all I can do is impose fines and costs. And if I find in my judgment that there's a willful failure to pay, I can then incarcerate. Other than that, we are forced to work out payment plans, or just see people walk. So if we can be set up to do Rule 8 hearings, we'll probably be much more effective. And with increased fines, I believe it will get the attention of more and more people, because it's more serious than city court now with all the cases. And if anybody has any question, I'm available to answer it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to add one thing. We are not trying, when we address this isn't about creating an environment where we are receptive and welcoming people and visitors to our town. Okay, that's not what we're after. This is not a revenue thing. It is to provide our officers with the tools and the teeth that they need in order to effectively execute what their job is. Any action that the court takes, no matter what the fine is, the judge has discretion to lower any fine and, or dismiss with cause. She has that discretion. So, I know she uses that discretion respectfully in the way it should be. But, keep in mind, it's about a tool. It's a tool and having the teeth to be able to be effective and, protect our community. So,
So each of these fees has went up 85. That's not true. 225.
that's true. Some of them have. They're right.
225 plus every fee you got here is a plus $90 on top of that.
So you have some fees, you have some of these, let me thumb down through here, 85. There are some that have went up higher for assault. Assaults went up, the drug cases have went up. So which one in particular?
Failure, there's one, failure to yield at a yield sign.
$85.
Yeah, plus the 90, it's $175.
No,
Plus.
you need to,
plus the 90,
what I need you to
plus the 90.
do is read the top of the column. At the top of the column, it says current fine plus court fees, drug fees, and state fees. So failure to yield, $150. That's what it is right now.
60.
I'm on page 2, I'm sorry.
Right at the bottom.
Okay,
So on the proposed fine, the court fees, the state fees, technology fees, that's all included in that.
that's correct.
That current,
That's correct.
what is the proposed fine?
Subtract $85. So 160 is a proposed fine now, plus $85 a court fee. So I'm trying to give you what that maximum out of pocket would be for an individual that had avoiding a traffic control device.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the 245 includes that $90.
That's 85, yes.
Mayor, I'd like to say one thing so that everybody understands. My department does not generate revenue. That's not what we're here for. And all of my officers understand that, and they show that. But these fines need to be a deterrent. So we're not asking the council to approve this to increase revenue for the city. That's not. If we had another way to deter crime, then I'd be all for that. But this is the only way we can do it. Like the judge said, this is the only thing that we can do as a municipality, the court system that we have.
Council, is there any other questions?
Is there a way to just do a line by line or take the traffic separate from all the other, non-traffic offenses?
It actually is in this list. If you look, it's listed as traffic.
What I'm saying is, so we can vote on it, just say,
Oh. How can it?
I mean, I agree, all the drug stuff, everything, I don't care what you charge these people. But, we have so many.
To vote on the entire thing, but they could make a motion just to vote on traffic or non-traffic.
Okay.
We had envisioned that someone would vote on it as a package
Right.
overall. But in the event the majority feels like they want to just vote on the traffic or the non-traffic, it is divided so that you can see that they are.
Can I make a statement?
But the
Because
way
I
that-
did sit in on the roundtable, and I think David Bonnie might can help me with this a little bit. But we are not a court of record, and I don't know if you guys know what that means or not, but we don't have a court reporter, we don't have jury trial. So we can't try some things like, we can't charge for DUI or, and so we use a reckless driving, because I know that's one that was brought up, that is a lot more expensive. So our officers will sometimes use that reckless driving if they can't get them through the district court. So, or if they feel like they won't be tried. So they'll use that reckless driving because that puts them on DPS's radar for how many points they need on their license. If they are truly reckless. If they truly feel like these guys are not deserving to drive, they're gonna hurt somebody. So, I mean, we have, like Jeb said, we have met about this, we've roundtabled it, we've discussed it. It is hard to charge these people these fines and costs because we know we're in hard times. But we also know that we have citizens here that we need to protect in traffic, but we also have tourists that are coming here expected to be protected.
Council, any other questions?
I want to make a motion that we separate the offenses from the traffic and non-traffic, so that we can look more at the traffic violations. Non-traffic, I don't care.
So you're saying you want to vote on each individual one?
Traffic, you say you could do that?
Okay?
Traffic and
I
non-traffic.
think that motion would be appropriately worded as, I make a motion that we vote on the, non-traffic tonight,
Okay.
but that we,
Table the-
delay a vote tonight on the agenda on the traffic. Is that where you're headed with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that motion might need to be worded that way.
Okay. I worded that way.
Motion to vote on those offenses that are categorized as non-traffic as listed and as presented to you. Okay. And then someone's gonna have to make a motion to vote on the traffic or not vote on the traffic separately. I don't think we could just leave that hanging.
Do we get a second? I have a question before we go on. The ordinance number 23-3-1. Is that going to be conflicting with item 9, ordinance number?
This one is actually a resolution.
Okay,
So it has a different system.
okay, all
The
right.
way we were set up in 2014, 2016 is that if we create the offense and we set an amount, then right after that, we can place it in our fee schedule with a resolution. And if we ever want to up or down it, we only have to change the resolution. We don't have to change the ordinance.
Okay.
Resolutions don't have to be published, ordinances do. If we had to publish this, that would be quite expensive.
Yes, it would.
And that's a good thing that previously a fee schedule setup was created for us. And Jeb has done a lot of research and checking to make sure that we understand that the ordinance comes first. And then after you do that, you vote to pass the resolution, putting it in the fee schedule. And then we don't have to publish the fee schedule and we can modify it easily and without a lot of expense. Do you agree with that, Jim?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay.
We think that's how we are set up and we think it has a good purpose.
All right, we have one motion out from Mr. Kirby. We need a second. Vote on them separately. I'll make that second.
Counselor Davis?
No.
Vice Mayor Mauser?
No.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
No.
and Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
2 yeses and 3 noes, that motion fails. So we need a motion to pass it all together.
That would be an appropriate motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes, it's gotta be done one way or another.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
and Mayor Kirby. I mean, Counselor Kirby. Come on, we're giving you a promotion. Sorry
All
about
yes, that motion carries. We'll move on to item 11. Consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and or postponement of splash pad change order number 1, reducing splash pad contract price from $720,040.54 to $529,184.41. Mr. Jones.
At our last council meeting, we approved and awarded the splash pad contract. And as part of the discussions for that, we accepted that you accepted and awarded that based on us negotiating a change order to bring our budget in line. And so we have done that. We have accomplished that. We did have to remove a bathroom. The city is going to take care of a certain amount of dirt work, pad work, to remove that out of, it's about $38,000 worth of dirt work that we will take care of. We also are going to take care of the water, the sewer, and the electric that we can do ourselves and at about $98,000 savings. So all bundled together, we saved $120,000, along with a $70,000 deduct that is like services that will be completed in concrete work by McQuay Construction. That puts us at $529,000, which is approximately, we're about 30,000 under budget, which will be a good contingency number. Now, the bathroom, I know the bathroom is a big portion of this, but I'm going to kind of tell you of an experience that I'm going along with right now, that we're working on the bathroom at Nichols Point. So, yes, we have had donations to help that along, but even if, as long as we do that project ourselves, and I have the contractors that can do the concrete, the block work, and then all I have to do is I'm in the process of working on the builder itself to do the truss work and the roofing. That I'm very comfortable that we can put a bathroom together ourselves, in-house. We're going to use outside contractors, but manage that project ourselves for probably under $50,000. Okay. My plan will be, by the time they get started and they finish the splash pad, we're probably going to be bumping up against July 1 anyway. And so that will be the next step for us is we'll, once they get it done, then we'll take care of the bathroom ourselves. But based on my experience with Nichols Point, it's easily doable. Easily doable. So we'll manage that ourselves.
Splash pad is gonna be
No, splash pad is at L in McKinley.
but they're all coming together in this price. This thing.
Nichols Point? No, I'm just talking about using Nichols Point as an example. Because we're doing a bathroom at Nichols Point now that we're probably going to come in at about $35,000.
Any other questions for Mr. Jones?
All this does is you're giving me permission to go ahead and sign that change order. And then once I sign it and forward it on, we're already in the process of scheduling dates and everything right now for the splash pad.
There's no other questions. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
and Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that motion carries. Move on to item 12, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement. To direct the city manager to place an advertisement to solicit applications for the open seat on the planning and zoning board to be presented to the mayor for appointment.
Here we have Mr. Henson, had to move to Texas and relocate, so he had to resign a seat on planning and zoning, so we do have a spot open. And so I'm just trying to help facilitate that along, and we can, we can put some little ad in the paper and let people know and see if there's someone interested that would like to sit on that board. If they want to come in, if you have someone, yourselves, and then we can present them to the mayor, he can review them and pick the best candidate for that spot.
Any other questions? Not, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Councilor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Councilor Upton,
Yes.
Councilor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes, that motion carries. Let's move on to item 13, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement to allow the city manager to sign and enter into the following agreements with Enterprise Fleet Management. We'll have to vote on these separately. Let's go to item A, Enterprise Fleet Management Master Equity Lease Agreement.
So I have been, for probably over the last 4 months, I've been in discussions with Mr. John Holland here. He is a senior account representative for Enterprise Fleet Management. And I'm looking at our fleet replacement and, just through a different set of different lens to see if there's a way that we might be able to keep our fleet up to date, because over the last 3-4 years, we've replaced a lot of vehicles. And we have a really solid fleet. But we also have some vehicles that are fixing to cycle out, and we're going to need to replace them. And so what I'm researching and asking permission for is to see if we can make this fleet management option work for us in the upcoming budget year. We, rather than going out and spending $40,000 on a public works vehicle, or $35,000, $40,000 on a replacement police vehicle, we can get two. We can take and pool those dollars and do a lease, and we'll be under warranty, have maintenance protection. And we're also rotating those vehicles out on a regular basis. Now, one of the aspects of this type of arrangement is that when we acquire a vehicle, it's acquired through what's called Sourcewell. And Sourcewell is an organization that does government bids, government bidding. Everything that's available in Sourcewell was publicly bid and is available to any government entity. And so we would take, for example, a pickup for the police department. Let's say we wanted to replace the chief's pickup. We could go out, Enterprise would purchase that vehicle. Then they would in turn lease it back to us. We'd say we do it on a 4 or 5 year type lease. At the end of that lease, that vehicle would go to market. We would replace it. It would go to market and it would sell. We purchase at government price, but we sell at retail price. Okay, so there's some gain to be had, and the idea is to be able to rotate your fleet out regularly, not drive them until they're literally falling out around your ears. It'll keep our maintenance down. It'll keep our fleet sound, and I think it's a good way that we could exercise some savings, maybe realize some savings in there that'll help reduce our fleet costs as well. So I've got John. I would like John to come up and speak a little bit to that. But there's 3 aspects of this. It's the master lease. Then you have the maintenance agreement for client-owned cars. It's a service they have. If we want to put current vehicles under a maintenance agreement, we can do that. And then you have full maintenance agreements. He'll explain all 3 of them.
Yeah,
We'll do them one by one. We'll vote on
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. So I'm John Holland. I'm originally from Canadian, Oklahoma. I now live in Longtown, so I'm not that far away. But I've been doing this for about 13 and a half years for a lot of different government entities, including Oklahoma State University, Department of Human Services. We do all their vehicles, City of Owasso, City of Tahlequah, Wagner, and Poto all do this type of program. We've been marketing to cities for about 3 years now, and we have close to 6 or 7 cities already on board. Government entities in the state of Oklahoma, we have close to 30 or 40. And then throughout Arkansas is an area that we hit cities sooner. And we actually have about 25 cities that are already on the program over there. And the whole idea of the whole program, the master equity lease, which is part A of this, is putting you guys on a rotation where your vehicles are not getting old. You're not spending all the dollars on operating costs. So you're going to be going from a 7 or 8 year replacement, and that's based on you guys replacing quite a few vehicles over the last few years, to a 4 to 5 year cycle, which would allow you to bring back a lot more equity into your fleet, allowing you to replace these in a cheaper model. I think we looked at the model on this overall. A 10-year model on this would save the city about $425,000 with an average sustainable about $10K. So predicting it out even further, you'd still be budget-wise saving money replacing your vehicles on a 2 to 5 year cycle. So that's part A of this whole thing is basically piggybacking off the Sourcewell contract which we were awarded to allow you to do this type of program. We're not saying any vehicles right now, that will all come to a budget decision later, but allowing y'all to get those processes moving to be able to put this into place.
Probably also allows you to budget better, because you know what your cost is.
That's exactly right.
Council, any other questions for 13A?
I make a motion that we accept 13A.
I'll say.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes on 13A, that motion carries. We'll go to 13B, enterprise fleet management, maintenance management for client-owned vehicles. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, so we have 2 maintenance programs. One for non-pursuit new vehicles, so I can tell you exactly what a vehicle's gonna cost from the time you get it to the time you get rid of it, so you have no out-of-pocket experiences. That's the other program. To put it into effect, your maintenance management, use local shops. Enterprise handles all of the calls from the shops. We negotiate those repairs to make sure that they're spending the right amount. We know everything about the labor rates, the part rates. So we're able to do that. With the Sourcewell contract, that's a $6 per month cost, which basically just says, for $6 a month, we're handling all of your negotiating, managing, you pay your bill. Selfishly, why we want that is I can come to you with data and say, hey, this vehicle's cost you 62 cents a mile when we could be operating a vehicle at 44 cents a mile. We need to make a change on this vehicle. So I'll have more data to give you better recommendations. And that's what that program would achieve. It does not give us open spending on the city's dollar. We would make approval processes saying, hey, this was a $1,400 repair. We negotiated it down to $1,200 because of our fixed rates. This is what we see. So like Dunn is on there, a lot of the local shops are on there. And if it's not, we can add.
We go ahead and see what the next one is. So we can tell the differences.
So, okay, sorry. It's, B is what he's talking about. This will be for client-owned vehicles. So let's say we go into the fleet, then there's a cost for that to take our current fleet and put it into their maintenance program. Is what that is.
That's what I'm supposed to.
So for pursuit vehicles, unfortunately, we just don't have the data points to give you a budgeted cost for maintenance. So we would just do a pass-through cost. By the way, on that pass-through cost, there's no markup. You don't mark up the repair. If it's $80, you get a bill for $80. But on the full maintenance program, I'll tell you, hey, this vehicle, based on 5 years, 50,000 miles, you should spend $2,000 over that life. And then we divide that by your term and give you a fixed amount. That's the other program, the budgeted one for new vehicles. I can't put that on old vehicles. So knowing what we know, we have roughly 2 million vehicles worldwide. So, I mean, it's one of those things where we just have the data to know exactly what a vehicle should cost in maintenance. Yes, these vehicles will have warranties. So on the full maintenance program, that's all calculated into what we charge per month on that fee. But what we've done is said, for the city, if you need to budget a $600 truck per month, and then you need to know what maintenance is gonna be, you may have a budget of $640 for that vehicle instead of a $1,200 repair or $1,500, so you just don't have those peaks and valleys of maintenance. And that's what the third option is. Most cities that I've dealt with that do not have internal shop, they utilize both sides of that.
Which we don't have.
And what this does is when you vote on B and C, it will allow us to do both if we see fit. Okay, just we're getting those processes in place so that we can go ahead and move forward with, we'll be able to better price what we're doing. Now we know, okay, we're gonna look at the cost of client-owned maintenance. We're gonna look at the cost of fleet maintenance. And it'll allow us to put together, I think, a more accurate projection and lay out a better cost.
One thing I'll add, it's not a one size fits all. So if you have 9 vehicles you want to put on the maintenance management program and you want to keep a dump truck that's not going to move much, you don't have to put that dump truck on. And this is not saying that you're agreeing to any amount of vehicles or anything like that. It's simply setting the program up for you to add vehicles as you like. You can also take them off if it's not working.
Any other questions, council? Not, I make a motion to approve item 13B.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes, 13B passes. We'll do 13C, Enterprise Fleet Management Full Maintenance Agreement. I make a motion to approve 13C.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton,
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes, that motion carries. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Item 14, remarks and inquiries by city council. Mr. Davis. Vice Mayor, I don't have any. Mr. Upton? Mr. Kirk, all right. We'll move on to item 15, announcements. Anyone have any announcements?
We have the green run coming up
March 18th.
March 18th.
Okay.
So
I have 100, Andrew, how many, 107?
109, whatever I left off.
109 entries.
Good,
That's
good,
pretty
good.
We're still 2 weeks out. So that's-
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Be a good thing. You got the splash pad we talked about.
Right.
We talked about the bathroom at Nichols Point. We also have some tournaments coming up. We have a fairly significant Major League Fishing tournament. It's the Tackle Warehouse Invitational. We'll probably see about 175 anglers for that. National, there'll be people from all over the world coming to that. So 3 days. 3 days. We've got working with the Extreme for some site work as far as where we can host a meeting. We've got working on local sponsorships and provide meals and different things like that. I think it's going to be good. It could be a really big deal for us. So.
Good deal. All right, we'll move on to item 16 for adjournment. Need a motion to adjourn at 6:26.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned at 6:26. We'll move on to Eufaula Public Works Authority, consent agenda. Roll call.
Counselor Davis.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mauser. Mayor Warren.
Here.
Counselor Upton.
Here.
Counselor Kirby.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Go on to the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes. A, regular meeting February 6, 2023. 3, approval of the February 2023 payroll figures for Utah Public Works Authority in the amount of $34,697.53. Received claims Utah Public Works Authority. Council?
I'll second.
Counselor Davis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
Yes.
Mayor Warren.
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes, those consent agenda passes. Move on to item 5, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of pay application number 29 from Lone Hickory Cattle LLC in the amount of $31,792.56.
So the good news about this, it's our next to the last payment. We've completed all the disconnects of the old system. We pulled all the fire hydrants out of the ground, anything old. We have to go and give everything a once over, make sure that they've dealt with everything they're supposed to. If everything goes well on that final punch list visit, we'll have a final payment request that will be in the amount, I believe, for the retainage, which is about $49,000, something like that. Or no, balance change, $239,000. So it's done.
I will say that they're Lackey and it's not Swafford.
On
Yeah,
at the bottom of the hill.
you know, all that dirt has gone down to the corner and it basically has stopped up the drainage
Okay,
on that and just pools and,
we can
Becomes a
take
pond.
care of that.
so that's probably Lone Hickory's
Yeah.
problem because that was their dirt.
They're there, they're working there now. Today was first day of the sewer, just FYI, so they'll be able to take care of that.
Yeah, yeah, they completely stopped up.
Okay, we will get taken care of.
Okay. I make a motion to approve item 5 for Lone Hickory Cattle.
Also,
Counselor Davis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser.
yes,
Mayor Warren.
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
Counselor Kirby.
Yes.
All yes, that motion carries. We'll move on to item 6, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement to authorize the mayor's signature on the memorandum of agreement between the Oklahoma Department of Human Services and the Eufaula Public Works Authority to renew the lease for 25 Hospital Road.
This is an annual action we take. This year, the reimbursement per month is $3,100 or $3,113 for a monthly or an annual total of $37,356. That's
No, that 3113 is the annual. The 3,000. That's just the insurance. It's an insurance reimbursement.
Okay.
It's like $3,100, so $3,100 a bit over.
Okay.
But, they reimburse us whatever that insurance is in the next fiscal year.
$3,113. That's the amount. that you're-
Per month.
That's
Annual.
annual.
Oh, okay, all right.
My fault.
Council?
so do we charge an annual lease?
It's an annual, that is the annual fee for that.
It's just an insurance reimbursement because we carry the insurance on the building.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't charge them for the lease at all. Is my understanding.
I mean, that seems kind of cheap. I mean,
They basically give it to us is how
I know they get a lot of remodeling.
Yeah.
You know.
that's it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
Counselor Kirby?
Yes.
All yes, item 6, motion carries. Item 7, we need an adjournment out of Public Works Authority meeting at 6:32.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melcher?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
Counselor Kirby?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.